Hey Hawks, today we're going to talk about library neighborhoods, and we are going to be finding books that are in our library in their neighborhood. Now, we have three main types of neighborhoods in the library, and I know that you guys probably live in a neighborhood, right? Like some of you might live in the Coves, or some of you might live in Falcon Falls, or things like that. Well, all of our books that are in our library, they also live in a neighborhood. We have three main types of neighborhood here in the Hopewell Library. We have the fiction neighborhood where big chapter books live, like Harry Potter and other chapter books. We have the Everybody Fiction neighborhood. That's where our picture books are, or we call them the Everybody Fiction books. So they're skinny little picture books. And then we have our nonfiction section, where books that teach us or tell us things, that's where they live. So those are the three main neighborhoods in our library. But if I said, hey guys, I live in the Coves and I want you guys to come over to my house for a party, and all I said is I live in the Coves, and just told you my neighborhood, you wouldn't be able to find my house very well because that neighborhood is big. Well, these three neighborhoods are also very big. So, in order to find where our books are in that neighborhood, we need to know their address, just like you would need to know the address of my house if you were going to come over. The addresses of our books always start by telling us what neighborhood they're in, and then there's more information to tell us exactly where they're located. For a fiction book, that address is going to start with the letters FIC. That tells us it's in the fiction neighborhood. Then the next three letters are going to be the first three letters of the author's last name. So if I was looking for Harry Potter, I would look in the fiction neighborhood, but I would look for ROW. Now, our fiction books are a little bit different. They have even smaller neighborhoods that they belong to, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes. If it is a Everybody Fiction book, the address always will start with an E to tell us that that book is in that neighborhood. Then it's going to be the first three letters of the author's last name. So Creepy Carrots, this is written by Aaron Reynolds, and the first three letters of Aaron Reynolds' last name is R-E-Y. So I would go to the R-E-Y section to find this book. Nonfiction's different. It doesn't start with the first three letters of the author's last name. Nonfiction starts with numbers. So like I have 571 here. That's just a number to put up there. But not all books in nonfiction start with 571. The numbers go from 0 all the way to 999. And then it has the first three letters of the author's last name. The numbers mean different things. You may have heard of the Dewey Decimal System in the past. Well, all of the books in the nonfiction section are put in Dewey Decimal order. All of those numbers mean a certain thing. So if you wanted to find a book about dinosaurs, your number would be 567. If you wanted to find a book about poetry, that number would be 811. If you want to find a book about somebody's life, a biography, you would go to 921. Each number means something different. So that's a little bit about the neighborhoods. Now we're going to use that information about neighborhoods to find books here in the Hopewell Library using Destiny. Destiny is our online catalog that we use. So here I am in the portal, and in the portal you will notice that you have a library media folder right here. So I want you to pause this video. I'm going to ask the guest teacher to pause the video for just a second so that you can open up your portal and open up this folder that says library media. Okay, hopefully everybody has this open, and we got a couple of things here. One of the things is Sora. Sora is ebooks, and we're going to talk about that in a few weeks. We're not going to do that today. Then we have Destiny and Destiny Discover. I'm not sure why we've got both of them there, but the district just put them in there. We're always going to use Destiny Discover. So you're going to click on that. Your screen's going to look a little bit different than mine at first because mine shows all the back end stuff that the librarian gets to see. But once you log in, it should look just like this. All right, this is Destiny Discover. This shows all of the books that we have here in our library. You'll know you're logged in because up in the top right-hand corner, it should say hi and your first name. Some of the things I want you to notice is that at the top, it has a search bar. So you can search by title, by author, by topic, by keyword, by series, all that good stuff. So if you want to see if we have any books about dogs, you could type in dogs. Go ahead and type in dogs right now, and let's see how many books we have about dogs. Okay, when I press enter, I see we have over 200 books about dogs. We have a lot. Now let's say that I want to find a book that is a nonfiction book about dogs. I don't want a fiction book. I don't want a picture book. I want a nonfiction book. I could go through here and I could check and see. For the ones that start with numbers, I know that that will be a nonfiction book. If it says FIC, that's a chapter book. And if it has the letter E in front of it, then that would tell me that it is a picture book. Now, I could do all that, or I can go ahead and separate them. I can separate all these books into their 3 neighborhoods and make it nice and neat and easy. To do that, over here on the right-hand side, it says filters. I want you to go ahead and click on filters, and we're going to separate these books by call number. Call number is the fancy library way of saying address, the book's address. So book's address, call number, same thing. Click on call number. It's going to separate all those books for us. Wow, and now I can see that we actually have 523 books that have something to do about dogs, something to do with dogs. It will always put the nonfiction books in the first group of the first neighborhood, and we'll always put them in number order. So this is the first book we have, the second book, and so on. If I scroll through, I'm going to see all the books that are in nonfiction that have anything to do with dogs. Some of them you'll notice, like it says prairie dog, right? So that's not necessarily about dogs, but it's got the word dog in the title. So anything that has anything to do with dogs is going to be here. You see this book about alligators, and I'm not sure why that book about alligators is here, but something in that book probably mentioned dogs somewhere. So I can scroll through here and I can see all these nonfiction books that are about dogs. Well, maybe I changed my mind and I want a picture book about dogs, or an everybody fiction book. Well, I can keep scrolling until I get past the nonfiction, and then all of these books that start with E, that's everybody fiction or picture books. So I could find a picture book about dogs. If I decided, maybe I want a chapter book about dogs, I can keep scrolling until I get to the books that start with FIC, because that means fiction or chapter books, and I can find a book about dogs. Now, I'm going to keep scrolling until I find one, because I want to show you something about the books that are in the fiction section. So the books that are in the fiction section here, like these, okay, they have an extra neighborhood. So all of the chapter books have been put into another neighborhood depending on the type of books that they are. So like this book right here, A Dog on His Own, I can tell it's in the fiction section, but it's also in another neighborhood. It's in the animals neighborhood, okay, or the animals section, or the animals genre. Sometimes we say that. So this book is in the animals genre. So all the books in the animal genre, they're all going to be about animals. And I can find A Dog on His Own in this section. If I want this one, Starro and the Space Dolphins, you'll notice it's in a different genre or a different section. It's in the adventure genre. So I would have to go to this little neighborhood to find that book. Okay, here's another one that's animals. This one's in fantasy. So Finding Serendipity, I would have to go to fantasy section to find that book. And here's realistic fiction, more animal books, another realistic fiction, humor, and so on. Okay, so that's a little bit about like how to find those books that are in those different sections. If you want to know more about a book, you can click on it and then it will give you some more information about that book. You'll notice that a lot of these books say in, but occasionally a book will say out. If it says out, that means that book is checked out. However, if you really, really, really want that book, when it comes back to the library, you can place a hold on it. You have a limit of 1 hold at a time. So make sure that you use your hold for a book that you really, really want. One more thing I want to show you before we're all done. Okay, I want you to go back to the beginning by pressing, you can click on Destiny Discovered, or you can click Home, and that will take you back to the beginning. And here on the home page, on my screen, you can probably see more, but on your screen, this might be hidden. So I want you to scroll down past the recently added books till you come to topics. Topics is just another way of saying genre. So these are the different genres that we have in our library. And this is really good if you don't know what kind of book that you want. So if you come to the library and you're like, I don't know what I want to check out today, this can help you save some time so you're not just kind of wandering around the shelves trying to figure something out. You can go to one of these sections that you really like. Now, if you know me, you know that I love scary stories. So if I don't know what book I want, I know I will probably want to read a scary story. So I click on here, and then it's going to open up all of the scary stories that we have in our library. Okay, again, if I want to, I can separate them by call number if I would like. Sometimes this gets stuck. These are not separated by call number. So I'm going to click here and then click call number again, and it will separate them by call number. And then I can look through here and see if there's a scary story in here that I like. Okay, so that's a kind of a way that you can look through and find a story if you're not sure exactly what you want. Once you have the address of the book, you can go to the shelf and go find it. If you have a book and you're not exactly sure where it's at, you've got the address, like maybe I want to get this picture book if you're spooky and you know it. And I know that the address is EFRO. You can take your computer with you to the bookshelves, and then that way you don't have to remember the address or the call number of the book. You can just take your laptop with you and then look at it while you're there. I suggest that you do this so that when we are helping you, if Mrs. Kyoka is helping you, if Mrs. Somerville is helping you, or another teacher is helping you, then we can also look on your laptop and find where that book is. Nice and easy. All right, guys, good luck. I want you to use Destiny Discover to find some books today. After you have done that, then you can go back and go to your checkout choices on Schoology, right? There's Schoology. You can go to your checkout choices, and then you can either look for some more books on Destiny or you can do checkout choices. All right, good luck, guys.